Before I start the video, if this is your first time visiting my channel, I'd appreciate it if you click that subscribe button. If you like this video, please click the like button and leave comments in the comment section. I read all comments, and even if I do not reply, I will click the thumbs up button to let you know that I've read your comment. I also have a couple of shout outs. My first shout out is to Gary Beekler, aka Neurotic, who managed on Friday Night Tights this week to almost triple my subscribers just by name dropping me. I appreciate the chat, those people that signed up and subscribed to my channel, and I also appreciate him for giving me the shout out. Nothing but love for you, brother, and I really appreciate your help. The next shout out is to Freddie Colton. Freddie Colton spent a couple hours with me today working on getting my videos more visible on YouTube. He's a busy guy. He's got his own channel. He's got his own things going, yet he's been really supportive of me, and nothing more supportive than giving a couple hours of his time to help me out and give me a better understanding of how the YouTube algorithms work. So on to the video, and it's about how the rings of power have been a lie since the very beginning. And one of the first quotes we got here is from Patrick McKay, who basically said we had a really clear idea of what Token was and what was important to him. Well, the first part of that is Token wasn't a what, it was a who. J.R.R. Token was a who, he's not a what. I don't know if that was misspoken out of context or whatever, or if it was some sort of analogy. I don't know. But the lie is quite evident, because if they cared about what was important to Token, they would have never fired Tom Shippey. For those of you who don't know who Tom Shippey is, outside of J.R.R. Token and his son Christopher Token, he is the Token Scholar. He's the only person that can claim that title. He knows more about Token than a lot of these false scholars will ever know about Token. And the way I heard it is Payne and McKay basically whined and went to Jennifer Salke and got Tom Shippey fired because Tom wouldn't let them do what they wanted to do, which was not what was important to Token. The next lie they said is whenever they got stuck, they always went back to the text. Well, I can point out a couple of things that the text didn't have. Well, the text didn't have Gandalf in the Second Age. The text didn't have hobbits in the Second Age. The text didn't have Gadriel being an insufferable bitch. The text didn't have all the men in Middle-earth basically being simps and cucks. So, again, another lie. The next lie is J.D. Payne said before season 2 that they've taken everything they read, everything, all the reviews, everything we read, what had been written. We read what your colleagues have written. We read what the fans are saying. And maybe they did. But the context of it is they were listening to it. Well, no, they weren't. They totally ignored it because they went and did their own thing again and didn't do what Token wanted done, what Token would have wanted, what the fans wanted. And I predicted before season 2 came out that season 2 was going to be worse than season 1. And sure enough, it was. As bad as season 1 was, season 2 was far worse. And there was a lot of cope, a lot of people trying to say, oh, well, season 2 was better because Rotten Tomatoes had a better score. You know why Rotten Tomatoes had a better score? Because all the people that hated season 1 and checked out, 66%, that was the drop from season 1 to season 2. I mean, from the premiere of season 1 to the end of season 1. They lost 2/3 of their audience. So those people weren't around for season 2 to hate on it and to drop the Rotten Tomatoes score. And when it's at 58%, and basically all you've got left are the weirdos and the shippers reviewing it, and it still only gets 58%, that's bad. And there's also stuff, I'm going to point to one thing in the first season. This is something that they couldn't keep track of, and they couldn't keep track of it because it's a lie from the books. In episode 1 of season 1, Arendir basically says that healers are called artificers. If you're wondering what an artificer is, it's a skilled craftsman or inventor. And he says that because of most wounds are naturally healed by elves, that these artificers' labors are instead to render hidden truths as works of beauty. So basically, they're artists. They don't heal people. They draw pictures and sculpt and invent things, okay? And craft things. They're not healers. Yet in episode 7, when Halbrand is laying there dying, Gadriel says, "This wound needs elvish medicine." No, you don't have elvish medicine. You have people that can draw a picture while Halbrand's dying. Or they can make a sculpture of him if he lives that long. And on top of it, probably the biggest lie was hiring Morbid Clark to be Galadriel, because she is everything that Gadriel is not. She's basically a Jennifer Sulky insert. That's all she is. If you look at her and you look at Jennifer Sulky, it's almost spot on. And if you look at how they act, Gadriel acts like Jennifer Sulky. She does not act like Gadriel in the books. So that's another lie. There was never any intent to have Gadriel to be the Gadriel of the books. It was a Jennifer Sulky insert, and it's clearly evident. The next bit of cope has to do with what's recently happened to Amazon Studios. So, season 3 of The Rings of Power got greenlit in February of this year. In the next month, Selkie got canceled. And then in May of this year, The Wheel of Time got canceled. Now, some people say that the Wheel of Time was better in season 3. I checked out after season 1. I couldn't stand it. I didn't really like it. And I wasn't going to waste my time on 2 more seasons. So I can't say if it was better or worse. Like I said, I've watched both seasons of The Rings of Power, and I can definitely say that season 2 was worse than season 1. And I can give you a couple examples. Like when you drop rocks, boulders on a river, it doesn't cause the water in that river to evaporate. And, in season 2, it did evaporate. Technically, the water should have rushed out into the forest where Adar's army was and basically drowned them all out. But even if that didn't happen, the riverbed was probably 5 feet of muck. that no orc or human being could have crossed without sinking in and then just been stationary targets for the elven archers. And there is no way in hell that they were going to get any siege equipment across that riverbed. That doesn't happen. And this is just the stupid stuff they don't know. And this is like simple shit. This is simple shit. And most people should know that. If you've grown up anywhere near a river or anything like this is common knowledge. All this stuff. So this just tells you how stupid these people are. But going back to the cope regarding why the Wheel of Time was canceled. Well, some people have recently made the argument that, well, they've gone all in on the Rings of Power, so they had to stop the Wheel of Time to save that money to invest in the Rings of Power. Well, that's like saying I'm going to cut off my nose to spite my face. Because the Wheel of Time for its 3 seasons cost about $300 million. The Rings of Power already have cost 3.5 times that. They're at, well, actually about 2.5 times that. They're at $808 million for 2 seasons. By the time season 3 is done, they'll probably be at $1 billion, and then it'll be 3 times the amount of money. It makes no sense. It's a stupid argument. Completely ignorant argument. That $100 million for the next season of Wheel of Time wouldn't matter. Not at all. Not to a show that's going to cost you $1 billion for 3 seasons. $100 million is nothing. It's a tenth of it. No, correction, it's 100th of it. It doesn't make any sense. Or actually, I was right the first time. Sorry. It's 10%. $100 million is 10% of $1 billion. It doesn't make any sense. Here's what happened. Here's why it was canceled. Because Bezos is sick of losing money. And he canceled it because Selkie's no longer there. He canceled her first. And then he canceled the Wheel of Time because it wasn't getting good viewership and it was costing $100 million a season. And if he's going to do that for something like that, you can imagine if the Rings of Power do not recover completely and actually exceed viewership in season 1, there's no way he's going to go forward with the season 4. This is a vanity project. They're making no money off of this. This $1 billion, he's not recovering anything. You aren't getting, what would you need, like 100 and some odd million people to sign up for Amazon Prime to make up for this? Hell, it's probably even more than that. It's probably like 500 million. You need like 500 million people to get you to $1 billion to make up for this. So this is a vanity project, and it's cost him $1 billion. $1 billion. I don't know how much he's worth after the divorce and all, but $1 billion is not chump change to anyone. I guarantee even Elon Musk would notice if he suddenly lost $1 billion on something. And I guarantee you he wouldn't want to spend any more money on it. So like I said, this is all a lie. This whole Rings of Power has been a lie. They never meant to do Tolkien any justice in this show. Their intent's always been to corrupt his work and to make it an embarrassment. And like I said, without Jennifer Selke, I really don't see this surviving another season. I think she was the advocate for it. I mean, something like Reacher costs, what, 1/10 of what the Rings of Power have cost so far per season. And it gets like 3 or 4 times as many views. I mean, it hauls in 1 billion hours watched per episode. It's just staggering, and it doesn't cost Amazon anything. That's where they're going to be putting their money moving forward. I guarantee you that. The more shows like that, I think Bezos is just sick of losing money. I could be wrong on this. I'm looking at this pragmatically and from the point of view of me being a billionaire. And I wouldn't want to lose $1 billion on some shit. And not anything. I don't need this. Amazon does not need to have a studio, which is why they don't have a studio head right now. Jennifer Koselke has not been replaced by anybody. And I think Bezos is just waiting for the right moment to pull the plug on this whole thing. I know he's been in the rumors for Warner Brothers, and maybe he wants to get someone like Zaslav in there to run things because he could tighten up the ship and maybe we'd get better content on some good IPs. But if he can't do that, I think at some point he's just going to eject the whole thing and be done with it because he just doesn't want to lose billions of dollars. And that's my argument. I don't think there's going to be a season 4 because I think viewership is just going to completely crater this season. I think this season is going to be even worse than season 2. I think it's going to keep going down. One lie, the next lie, and then it just snowballs. And right now it's an avalanche. It's an avalanche, and it's going to wipe out, Amazon Studios. And, ask Hassan Piker what happens when you tell one lie after another, after another, after another. And you forget what the lies are. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And like my father told me when I was 18 years old, get out.